heal from your heartbreak, or what I would tell you if you were to call me late at night, wondering if you'll ever be able to get right, or what I would tell you if you lost your zeal for life and let it slip so that you're no longer sure you want to be here. I would tell you it's okay that you feel this way. I will tell you that you're brave for acknowledging the ugly stuff. I would help you see the strength in your vulnerability, because I'm all about taking the sting out of things. That sting is the pain of toxic shame, and there's no place for it in your healing. My hope and prayer for you as you move through these chapters is that God would fill you with grace, compassion, and understanding. Perhaps you're great at offering these to others, but I'm asking that you extend them to yourself. If you're struggling with hurt, heartbreak, discouragement, or any of the other emotions covered in this book, I don't wish you to stay where you are. I don't wish you endless weeks of pain and frustration. I wish you health, joy, and freedom. But if there's one thing I've learned as a mental health professional, it's that you can't hate yourself into healing. You have to love yourself right on through it. If God Himself, perfect as He is, can love us in the middle of it all, who the heck are we not to? 1. The danger of spiritual bypassing. Some years ago, I sat in a pew hoping for a message that would encourage my heart. I was fresh out of a breakup, and as a woman in her 30s, I was starting to experience real doubt that I would ever get my own happy ending. I was also sick and tired of trying to figure dating out. Church, however, was a place I'd always found solace and hope. So I prayed that God would somehow speak to me that morning and crossed my fingers He would. About 3/4 into the sermon, I realized this was not going to be the message that encouraged my faith. It was not going to be the message that helped me feel understood. In fact, this was a message I would remember for a long time for how frustrated it made me and so many other women, which I found out soon after service. See, at this point in the message, the pastor detoured into talking about relationships, and everybody perked up. You could tell he'd struck a chord. He proceeded to talk about the beauty of God's timing, trusting the process, and trusting God at His word. All stuff I'd heard before, but a word doesn't have to be new to be good. Then came his final exhortation on the topic, something to the tune of, "So ladies, you need to stop worrying and start working. If you're not married, it's because you're not ready to be. How do I know that? If you were ready, you would be." I froze. The rest of my row, mostly women, froze also. I could feel us collectively saying, "What did he just say?" Being a church girl my whole life, I was used to disagreeing with pastors in the pulpit. It happens. In fact, if you told me that you agreed with every single thing your spiritual leader said, I'd be worried that you're not doing enough thinking on your own. I was used to letting things I disagreed with roll off my back and taking from the message only what I felt God really wanted me to hear. I was also used to hard words. Words that pierced through sin in a way you just knew would change you. But these words weren't hard. They were antagonistic. Because from that position of power and influence came a message that dismissed and invalidated the reality of so many. It invalidated the challenges of dating in our current culture. A culture where surface, transactional, what can I get from new relationships seemed to be the norm. It invalidated the challenges of dating while trying to remain abstinent, which significantly limits your options because many just don't share that value. It invalidated the real worries of women past their 20s who confront all kinds of discouraging messages about their ability to find love and start families. It invalidated the work and prayers that grown women have already done in preparation for their marriages, and the weariness and discouragement that comes from years without results. The pastor's words invalidated these realities and more. What was particularly off-putting, however, were the implications around this idea of readiness. I was a Black professor at a